Hey AfterBuzzers! We're finally back with new episodes of Supergirl. Tonight we're talking Season 3, Episode 14, Shot Through the Heart. And let's get into it. All about Wynn's drama and Mon-El and Kara's relationship status. We have it all. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
This song immediately makes me want to go to dance party, but tonight we are going to talk about Supergirl and some epic karaoke on the show. If you watched the episode, you know this song was all over the place tonight. I'm Stephanie Wenger.
And I'm Lacretia, Lyon, and if you watch Ash vs. Evil Dead, you know why this song and being all over the place is funny. But if you don't, that's for another time. And watch our after show at 8 p.m. on Sundays.
I was going to say, I don't, so I should definitely be checking out your after show to find out why what I just said is hilarious. So, it's a mystery to me.
I'll explain it later.
Sounds good. But right now, let's jump into Supergirl, and I really liked this episode. We've had a long hiatus at this point. I think it's been off since February.
Yeah.
So now we're in mid-April, and honestly, I'd kind of forgotten what had happened, and then the last couple weeks had been kind of researching and remembering, and I really loved their take on it, and I'm excited for these final 10 episodes.
Yeah, their take on me, or Wynn, I should say, was really good in this episode. I love that we got a Wynn-focused episode, and that it did deal with stuff that was kind of odd that they'd not really had anything left with Toyman in the last season. That was only in season 1. And that was such a good story, such a good Wynn moment, and a very important part of his character and why he does what he does. And this episode, you know, dealing with his mom, played by the wonderful Laurie Metcalf.
Can you?
Yeah.
I cannot get enough of her. She's amazing in every role.
Yeah, like, and she was so good in this. Like, I almost felt like I was watching more a movie because, you know, you have her and him in it, and there was a lot of good, like, character moments, and the special effects and the fun, like, toy warehouse fight scene was just, like, pretty cool. And that's why I'm like, oh, wow, I love the CW budget.
I agree with you. Like, I thought, one, they stretched their budget really well with the special effects. And two, this has been an episode that I've waited for a long time. I think Wynn is a character that's so interesting and sometimes underutilized on the show. He's like such a fun sidekick, but to get to peel back this character in a real way and see what's driven him and how he's become this upstanding guy, and we even see his mom like applaud the life that he has, but you realize, and there was definitely nods to it in the first season, but that his childhood was anything but pleasant.
Yeah, and that's why I like, as you said, we got to peel back the layers of Wynn, and then he is such an underutilized character, but that's why I really liked that everybody did take a back seat in this, and that was really good to see, that Wynn and his mom were the ones who even saved the day, so we got to see those good moments that we don't always get to see with Wynn, and that scene with Kara and his mother, and his mom being genuinely proud, and Kara saying, yeah, we couldn't do this without him. Wynn is the one who always, and that is it. Wynn is the one who always has the crazy plan.
Right, and I feel like Wynn saves the day a lot.
Yeah.
Everybody's going crazy, and Kara, of course, as Supergirl, has all these powers, but he's the one who comes through and is really there for people, and I don't feel like sometimes we get that message so clearly, and tonight it was really interesting to kind of, again, it was like Wynn's origin story, and that was a really cool thing that we don't get so much of anymore. I feel like that was much more first season Supergirl than it is right now. We don't get these like really in-depth character origin stories.
Yeah, because we had not really heard much about Wynn's mother. I didn't realize that she had left him. I mean, we knew about his father in a way, but it's been so long since I'd seen that episode that I didn't really, and maybe this was a lot of new information that we were getting anyway. And yeah, I was just, you know, so surprised. But like you say, this was like a huge callback to season 1.
Yeah, and I feel like there are a lot of Supergirl fans out there who loved season 1, so I feel like they really hit a nice point here as they go into these final 10 episodes. It's crazy to say that we go through June, and I'm excited to see kind of how it plays out, and we'll have some news and gossip related to next year in a little bit. So yeah. I also, Laurie Metcalf just can
Yeah.
do no wrong in my mind. Like, Lady Bird, phenomenal. Tonight, phenomenal. And Supergirl, just everything she does.
Both iterations of Roseanne are some of my favorite things, and even her turn as Sheldon's mom on The Big Bang Theory.
yeah.
And then Derek Hogan brought up she played the killer in Scream too. Yeah, and her partner was Timothy Olyphant. That's why that's my favorite Scream. So I love that you brought that up.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then I also felt like it was a really nice moment for that like mother-son relationship, and we don't have a lot of that on the show because, again, as it should be, it's Supergirl. We have a lot of like father-daughter, and this was a really nice kind of play on that type of relationship.
Yeah, because one of my favorite moments of the whole episode was the scene where Winn is realizing how much he's like his mom in a way because she starts helping him with the flying monkey. And that was sort of sweet because I feel like that was the moment where Winn realizes that maybe he's not like his dad, that his mom was smart and knew all this stuff too, because he didn't seem to remember that as a child.
Yeah, and I also thought it was interesting. She walked away from him because she was, I mean, his dad is beyond terrible, at least the way that it's described in the show. And she walks away from him and his father, but she still has those mothering instincts. Like, she asked him, like, did you get your tetanus shot?
Yes.
And you're like, that is such a mom thing to ask. Like, every mom would ask that. And so it was really interesting to have that kind of dynamic of, like, her being the proud mom, the protective mom, but really, as a child, did very little of that for him.
Yeah, I mean, at least that he remembered, because when she talks about it, and that's what I liked, is she never really made excuses. She just told him why she left, and these were good character moments, and it does seem like he can build a relationship with his mom, because even though she did leave him, and that's horrible, I mean, she had a good reason, but also took responsibility for it, and I really liked that, because, yeah, she left to protect him.
Yeah, and I thought that the Disneyland story was when my heart broke in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
When she goes, he thought they were going to Disneyland for like a day of fun, and he was like, I can't believe you made us drive all night. And she was like, no, we were going to, get protection and get away from your father. And he like drove us off the road. And I think that that's the moment that like his world kind of cracked open and was like, wait a second, now I can see this larger picture.
Yeah, and I like that he had that moment with Jimmy, and I like that Winn got moments with everybody, because they're all really his good friends, like even Mon-El, like they had bonded before anybody, and that was sort of the thing, is he got this moment with Jimmy where he's like, I blame my mom too, because she, when my dad died and I was hard on her, and you sort of have to get over that, like, and realize your fault in it too.
Well, I remember in season 1 talking about like the bromance between Jimmy, I think it was in season 1, Jimmy and Winn.
Yeah.
And like, that was somehow kind of lost along the way. And it was, again, nice to have that throwback that you're like, oh yeah, like they have this strong bond and we just haven't seen it for a minute. And it was nice to bring it back.
Yeah, it was good to see everyone supporting Winn when he's usually the one having to support everybody.
And also Kara, it just made me smile when she's like, he's the one who, makes this whole thing work. And you realize how important he is, the like guy who from the control room who kind of manages everything, because he really isn't out in the field. We don't see him that often in the field, but he certainly does so much to make it work for her.
Yeah, and that brings me to one of the better moments that was a little bit more fun was the fight in the toy warehouse. The cape magic.
Oh, so amazing. And just, again, the special effects, we can't say it enough on this show. They make it look incredible for the budget of a weekly television show.
Yeah, and, that's what's so cool is some things are done on an incredible budget. Like, some things are done for free for you guys. And if you want to have fun, learn, and grow in all areas of your life, for those who do, we have got the podcast for you. Conversations with Maria Menounos Podcast Edition is hosted by our AfterBuzz TV founder and drops every Friday on iTunes. Conversations with Maria Menounos features celebrity and influencer interviews, along with secrets and tips on how to be better in all aspects of life. From health and wellness to career, relationships, finances, and more, let our Maria be the big sister you've always wanted. Just go go to iTunes and subscribe to Conversations with Maria Menounos for free. Be sure to rate and comment, and when you do, let Maria know it was us, the Supergirl After Show, that sent you there. Conversations with Maria Menounos, podcast edition. Check it out.
It's amazing. I love the podcast. And also, if you've checked out any of Maria's lifestyle books, she's got a great cookbook, an exercise and like healthy living book, and also just a book about general life and how to be a better organized person, live a healthy life, have stronger relationships, everything that, you know, we talk about here and what's so important in life. It's really great, and I'm excited to hear more of the podcast.
Yeah, and then, you know, all of her books are the Every Girl's Guide. So this is for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that I've found super helpful in my life, and I know her podcast will be the same. Super helpful advice and easy to implement in your own life. Yeah. So, cool. Let's jump back to Supergirl and get into some of this relationship drama.
Yeah.
So I want to get into Mon-El and Kara, and I feel like this is the story of will they, won't they? Like, I just feel like every time they interact, there's so much chemistry there. And yes, in the chat, you can disagree with me. That's fine.
I agree with you. And people on Twitter, you can disagree with me all you want, but I still win.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like it's my favorite. Every time they're together, it's like some of my favorite moments on the show.
Yeah, like him wanting to teach her about his cape magic, and just that whole scene, as I already said, it was so fun. But then, like, the afterglow almost of their fight, like, because this is sort of their way of, you know, actually, and now I'm getting really dirty. Yeah, their relationship status, it's complicated, right?
It is very complicated, and you can start to see that Mon-El is working his way back into her good graces, right? Like, he's starting to, tonight we saw the apology of, like, I lied to you and that wasn't okay, which I think is kind of the first step in this direction that I assume they're heading, which is to have them reunite.
Well, yeah, and I know people are like, oh no, Kara's not a homewrecker, this or that. It's obvious that Mon-El and Irma were married, you know, for convenience. Mm-hmm. He did say he grew to love her, but, you know, and now he's realized she's lied to him and, you know, wasn't honest about this big issue. And that's why he's relating to Kara. And now this has given him another opportunity to grow. And we've already seen what kind of person he's grown into. And he owes a lot of that to Kara. And, like, they clearly both are still in love with each other because he did tell Irma that. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, he's been pretty upfront with Irma that, like, his past with Kara meant something to him. Yeah. And I don't think that it makes Kara a homewrecker if their relationship seems to be ending, and it doesn't feel like he's in it anymore.
Well, it's not like our hero Kara is going to make a move on a married man. That is not what's going to happen.
No.
It's obvious that his marriage isn't what even he thought it was, even if it didn't even start out like, you know, just a convenience anyway. And there are already, you know, some cracks there, and he didn't come here to get back together with his ex-girlfriend. Like, no one's intentions are bad at all. Like, not even Irma's. I mean...
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that ultimately they all want to find happiness, right? Yeah. And I don't know that Irma and Mon-El are happy in what they currently are. I agree with you, though. I think they will wait until there's a clear separation before anything happens with Kara in a real way. But I think they are making these kind of benchmarks where it's like the apology to, and I assume that it will continue in the weeks to come. We'll see them spending more time together.
Well, and two, when you see, you know, Irma and Brainy lived in this other time and they're not going to want to go back and stay where we are now, like, but Mon-El, his whole thing was about saving people from blight, and if they get that, there's no reason he has to go back. So, you know, it's just maybe it's a little bit of a convenience of time travel, like our other favorite characters on Legends staying together or getting together.
Ooh, yes. I'm really excited to see where this relationship goes, because I think that, at least in my mind, it's heading towards a reunion. It's just the how they get there, right? Yeah. When does Mon-El and Irma kind of end, and when I hope that they give it a beat though in between. This show has a tendency of ending one thing, and the next week they're like madly in love, and I would love to have a little bit of a beat there.
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing, is I don't really see them actually getting back together in these next 10 episodes. I feel like we're on the road to that, and we may just get a hint at that's what's to come whenever it comes
I think
back.
If it does happen in these 10 episodes, it will be like a kiss in the final, in the season finale. I just can't imagine them, like, I don't imagine it in 2 weeks. That's what I'll say. Like...
Yeah, and too, like, they mentioned Imra's powers in this episode, like, as Saturn Girl, the kinetic, and I love it. He's like, she can't read minds. Like, and then, like, Jimmy's like, thank God. You could tell there was, like, a guy moment there.
Right. Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It was cute.
I thought that it was a really sweet episode overall with the bonding between the characters. It was nice to have... They had Supergirl moments, and those are fun. The fight scenes are so big and amazing. But my favorite part of this show is like when these characters get to bond together, and this was a great episode in that regard.
Yeah, and there was a lot of bonding. I mean, we got the big karaoke moments at the beginning and the end, and I always love all of those.
Can we also just say that the karaoke moments are so like. This cast is so talented, and they can all sing and dance, and it's just so amazing, and so it's fun to get those moments.
Well, and there was a lot of, like, nods to other little things, like, the Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas is the unofficial Supernatural theme, and so it was a cute little CW nod, and I love that, and I love it that it was Mon-El singing that one. That was fun.
Absolutely, and we want to get into Alex and John, but before we do, let's talk a little bit about iTunes. You can go on iTunes, of course, listen to this podcast, rate, comment, let us know what you're thinking. We read all of your comments. We're on the live chat during the show, and then throughout the week, we're always on iTunes, YouTube, all of it, looking at your comments.
Yeah, and that's the thing, guys, and we will read your comments on the air if you give us a 5-star review. Maybe a 4-star, we'll still read.
Yeah, if you write something nice, we'll definitely shout you out. It's our favorite thing to do, and we also write back, at least in the comments. I know we're all big on that, too.
Yeah.
So definitely let us know what you're thinking. Also, if you have a favorite relationship, favorite couple that you want to hear more about that we can talk about, that's great, too. So, and then let's get into this Alex and John and his father. This was something that made me a little bit sad. Like, it was sad to see the dementia jump into the storyline.
And the problem is the storyline is also going on a lot of other shows, and it's really one of the harder ones, I guess, because same thing with a little bit of Wynn's story. I personally relate to this one, so it's always a little bit harder. And like the stuff with John and his dad is so good, especially when they were like participating in the karaoke. It was very sweet, and I like that they've got this moment there where they were really bonding and getting out, and he was coming in, so it's so heartbreaking and that's what I like too, is his father was still trying to protect him. It was like, no, I don't want to do this to him.
Right. I mean, I think it's just kind of, he just came back into his life, and you don't want to bring all of that baggage with you, but as Alex points out, it's going to happen regardless, and Alex is really trying to step in and help him, and he did not respond well to that.
Yeah, and I really did like that Alex, was very respectful the whole time. Like, that's who she is. And like, I liked that she was saying, as well as his dad, wanting to be her, part of a family, and seeing them as, John's daughters was very sweet. And that was the thing, is like, there was a few heartbreaking moments. I mean, and obviously the implications of what is to come with this, but there was also a lot of just like good-hearted moments with them.
Yeah, exactly. It felt like kind of, again, they created this family, and it was interesting to see John's father even kind of note that. Like, they've created the family that, like, a family they've chosen. And I just hope that, John can kind of help his dad in the ways that he needs, and all of that comes about, but you can see that there's kind of going to be some tragedy along the way.
Yeah, and kudos to Supergirl for tackling such a hard subject in an interesting way, because that's what I love about these shows. I mean, and it started back when it was the WB, with, like, Buffy tackling, sex and drugs and things with
Absolutely.
magic. And, you know, it was just like, wow, like having the Martians who literally they read minds.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it before on our show that they do such a phenomenal job on Supergirl of dealing with social issues, of dealing with kind of real life issues in this phenomenal universe of Supergirl, but they bring it down to earth with talking about things like dementia and, you know, and social issues that have come up politically in the news in real life, and they kind of meld those worlds in such a unique way, and I can't really think of another show that does it quite like it, at least that's currently on the air.
Yeah, and that goes for all of the CW, you know, DC shows specifically, but a lot of, you know, the other ones on the network as well is, you know, that's why they're, you know, ranked higher than some of the other networks nowadays, because it's like they can tell a story that people are going to relate to, but they're not going to be super depressed about it. Like,
no, it's like they do it in a fun way in this universe, but they're getting a point across, and they're all like thoughtfully written and complete characters, and we've talked about Alex's coming out story and all these different things, and they do it in such a meaningful way, and they tackle a lot of issues, and I think they do a really great job at it.
yeah, and you know, that's the thing, is I know some people will dismiss, you know, these shows because it's got flying monkeys, but you know, flying monkeys have symbolism, guys.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's interesting because you can argue, I feel like in the cinematic universe, that this is done more often. There are larger messages in like these superhero movies. If you really look at some of them, there are these meaningful ideas behind them, where sometimes I feel like on TV shows it's just like, oh, it's fun and it's action, which is great, and there's a great purpose for that as well. But I feel like you're right. This DC universe right now on the CW is doing a phenomenal job of kind of melding it together.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into Sam, and we only see like a split second of her at the very end of the episode, but laying in a hospital bed, and she kind of comes into predictions, which we'll get into. But what did you think about that? That was such an interesting way to end the episode.
Yeah, because I know at least we were dropped hints of Lena sort of blowing off Jimmy, which we didn't think that she was doing that intentionally. She had to be doing something really important or was like kidnapped. But, you know, we had seen before the break that she had suspected something being wrong with Sam. And Lena, being the good friend she is, that's what she was doing, is she's working on trying to figure out what's wrong with Sam.
Yeah.
And I liked that's what Lena was doing.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that she wouldn't blow off Jimmy for no reason. And it is her, like, showing her good side, that she's this friend that Sam can count on. And I think next week, to get a little bit into it, it looks like Sam's going to have a much larger role in the episode, and maybe there's some issues along the way with that.
Yeah, because, I mean, how soon do you think we're going to figure out she's Rain? I mean, some of the other characters. Because I feel like Lena sort of suspects in some way. There's a part of her that knows it's not good. Like,
right. I don't think it'll be next week. I think that's a little fast. I think probably you're looking at 2 to 3 episodes away. I don't think it's going to be the season finale by any regard. I think you're certainly going to see it soon. I think it's going to kind of explode next week, and then in the week or two after, they'll probably, at least more of the characters will find out. I don't know that everyone will.
yeah, Davy Elmer says that she already figured out Sam is Rain. Like, I thought she has an inkling
Yeah,
that something's up. It wasn't definitive. Like, so yeah,
I would need to go back and watch that episode. I thought it was an inkling, but I could be incorrect.
Yeah.
I will go back and check though for sure. No problem on that. Let's get into our news and gossip.
Yeah.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Well, so we do know we have another season coming.
Woohoo!
So
So exciting!
Yeah, so all of the comic book related content, except for iZombie, has been renewed yet, but that did just start back up. So I don't think we have that much to worry about. So hopefully that show will be back as well.
Right. I'm so excited that Supergirl got another season, because I think people were really worried with the hiatus what that meant for the show.
Yeah, because that was the thing, is now that they've opened up, because, you know, Sunday nights for more content, they're like, okay, now we can juggle 5 superhero shows at a time.
I kind of love, I mean, because I feel like people were like, oh, what does it mean? Because February to April is a long hiatus, but having it come back, and just personally, I love The Flash, and I'm so excited that Riverdale's coming back.
Oh yeah, I love Riverdale.
I think, like, to have this slate of shows again, as we were saying, they're such a fun escape, but with a meaningful message, and for Supergirl to continue to be a part of it, I love the message behind the show, so I'm couldn't be happier.
Well, and then that just means more big crossovers, because that's the thing, is now that we have all of them, and yeah, I agree with you, The Flash has been so good this season. I'm a little bit in love with Elongated Man, which is hard because Harry's there too, and he's my favorite.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, this is a really good little universe Berlanti's built.
I was gonna say, it's all Greg Berlanti. And I also just have to say that Greg Berlanti just did Love, Simon, and that was incredible as well. So if you haven't seen that movie, definitely go check it out if you're into all of this universe. I feel like it's a fun teen movie as well. And
it's got Josh Duhamel. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, Josh Duhamel, Jennifer Gardner, you can't lose. Yeah, I'm just so excited for Supergirl, and I'm excited to see where they go this season that will lead into an amazing season 4.
Yeah, because that's what I see, is will, you know, at least Mon-El stick around, or maybe, you know, because I do like Imra and Brainy, and as long as it leads to Mon-El and Kara getting back together, I'm fine with them sticking around. I'm like, nothing wrong with their characters.
Totally.
Yeah.
I like it. Let's jump into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Do you have any big predictions?
Well, Renji90998 brings up a good point and a good idea for season 4. Introduce Superboy.
Ooh, yeah. I like that. That would be really fun.
Yeah, because that's the thing, is there's so many places they can go. And one thing I predict, because we all seem to like Sam, and what we've seen in this universe before is, even if you like somebody who is potentially like a big bad, like Rain is, Sam is not. So, like, you do have this already possibility of her being, you know, good and used later, because I still say I saw chemistry between her and Alex, and that would just
I remember that there was definitely an episode, like, midway through the season that I remember being like, could that be a thing? Such a good question. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I'm really excited to also see, kind of, as I mentioned, the play out between Mon-El and Kara, and where that goes. And I also think this was a phenomenal episode for Win, and I would love it if we got kind of a Jimmy-esque episode in a similar vein. Like,
yeah, I feel like we're due one.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, I think that, like, getting we have such a good sense of who Supergirl and Kara is, and like that story, that it's now fun to get these kind of surrounding characters. We had a little bit of Alex earlier in the season. It would be nice to kind of build out the cast in that way.
Yeah, because I feel like this episode next week could be a Lena episode, and it is nice to see Kara taking a back seat, because Kara is our hero. It's called Supergirl. That's great, but we do love all the other characters, and like this episode was so good being a Win episode, so maybe it's a Lena, and then we'll get a Jimmy.
Yeah, I would love that. And I'm just really excited also for kind of this Sam storyline to play out. We are ready for the big bad to kind of fully materialize, I feel like, because it's been a minute in the making. Anything else? I'm trying to look at my notes. I don't think so.
Yeah, Billie Jean Girl 24 asks, is Win single, or is he still with his alien girlfriend, or is that over?
I think he's single.
Yeah, because I'm like, they just sort of dropped her character, and I really liked her. I'm like, oh.
Me too. Well,
he didn't mention her to his mom, but you know, I'm dating an alien might be even more awkward than I worked with Supergirl.
I feel like it was not the moment. They were just getting like their footing back. I think you wanna, but I do feel like they're not a thing anymore. I think that he's single. Again, I will check and get back to you guys. But until then, this has been the Supergirl After Show. You can find AfterBuzz at AfterBuzz TV on Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere online. And you can find me at Stephanie Wenger.
And I'm Lacretia Lyon, guys. You can always find me at LACRETIALYON anywhere on the internet, since there is only one. And I have a podcast, Mrs. Brightside, that is available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podbean. New episodes every Tuesday. And the episode, when we come back for our hiatus, will be with my family. It'll be released tomorrow.
Yay.
It'll be pretty funny. My mom and my brother joined me for the bright side of group therapy, I think is what my brother wanted to be called, but we'll see.
That's amazing. I can't wait to check that out. And we'll see you all back here next week, next Monday, for more Supergirl. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.